fairs to be going out to, and I thought. As we're drawing to an end of boot fair season in a lot of places, I'd share a boot fair that I'm still visiting, and it's just to kind of show you guys that it's still worth getting out there, even if the boot fairs are terrible. This week there was a lot fewer people in terms of sellers, but also in terms of buyers. There weren't as many buyers out there buying stuff, and so it was less competition. I still saw some regular faces that I always see when I'm at the boot fair, but that's to be expected because the regular faces are probably people that have done this for a while and understand that no matter how bleak it looks, sometimes it's just worth going out there. I mean, obviously, as we get into November, December, and the colder months, boot fairs do become scarce, and the ones that are running also suffer because people don't want to necessarily stand in the cold and sell, and people don't want to necessarily come out in the cold and buy. But the people that do actually make the effort, sometimes the rewards are worth it. Now, there have been times, on the other hand, where I have gone to plenty of wintertime boot fairs last year and came away with nothing, even after like a 50-minute hour drive there and back. So all I did was lose a bit of petrol money. But I felt better having gone. And if you are traveling to a boot fair, you can always make a day of it if you really want. You can always hang around the area until the local charity shops open up and have a look around, see whether there's anything you can pick up, do a bit of stock hunting that way. But anyway, today I went to a boot fair. It's on a hard standing surface, and it was much smaller than it normally is, and that may be down to the weather or whatever. But they weren't nearly at capacity. It wasn't even a third full, I'd say. And at first it did look like a bit of slim pickings, but I persevered and I came away with some pretty cool stuff in the end, and for not bad prices. And it's actually interesting because I was walking around and I was looking at what's available, and I wasn't picking up a great deal. And I went past a stall where I saw a few things and nothing spectacular. So I was just walking there, walking past it, and what really spurred me to keep on looking was, as I walked past it for like the third or fourth time, they had the sellers had decided to take out an awesome PlayStation 1 bundle. And because I wasn't maybe as on the ball as some of the other guys there, they got in there and they picked up some really good PS1 games, Spyro, Crash Team Racing, and they were paying only 50 pence a game. However, luckily for me, the other dealers that were there were only picking up the gems, as it were, so they left a bunch of games and stuff. And the cool thing is, because the weather's crappy and because there aren't as many buyers, the sellers are more open to do a deal. And in the end, I actually picked up a really not so great looking PlayStation with a memory card. And not only did I pick that up, it came with a not so great PlayStation 1 remote, and you can see it's a bit kind of yellowed and dirty, so that will need a good clean, maybe take apart and clean. But what's cool about it, like I said, is I got a PlayStation, and I got all the rest of the games that they were selling, and I got them for a really low price. And I actually got some games which weren't too awful. No massive titles, but I've definitely got some titles here that on their own would sell for like £5-6. But I'll show you what I picked up. So if you bear with me, there's quite a few here. There we go. Right, so I've got my bundle in front of me. So there's V Rally, and these are really nice condition. I mean, if nothing else, you've got good cases to work with if you ever need cases. But V Rally, good bundle fodder there. Got that Micro Machines V3, again with manual and the games all in there. An M&M Shell Shock game. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Shrek. Scooby-Doo Cyber Adventure. Tom and Jerry. Now, Tom and Jerry I've seen go for like £5. Stuart Little. Chicken Run. Harry Potter. Disney Tarzan, that can go for about £5 as well. Bubble Bobble, not sure how much that can go for. Hercules, that can go for a little bit. Toy Story 2, that will probably go for a little bit. And I've got Buster Move 2. So I got, in total, admittedly, none of these are the gems. Like I said, the Spyro, the Crash Tag Team Racing, and whatever other handful of awesome titles they had were bought up by the dealers for 50p each, which is, good for the dealers, I suppose. Now I got these, all of these, and the PlayStation for, I think it was £4, or was it £5? I think it was £5. £5 I paid. So I got the PlayStation with the PS1 memory card, you know, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 games there for a fiver. So even though none of these are gems, even by selling one or two of them for like £5 each, that's gonna kind of do me really well. So I'm pretty happy with that. So it just shows that even at this time of year, you can still pick up some pretty cool items. Now, I also picked these up. These aren't amazing from what I can remember, but I paid 50p each. Homer Simpson, well, Simpsons Hit and Run for the PlayStation, and Sonic Collection. Now I bought these at the beginning of the boot fair, where I was like, oh, it's going to be slim pickings today, so take advantage and pick up those titles. Not necessarily the kind of titles I'd normally be kind of all over, but still 50p, it's not bad, so I'm happy with that. Okay. Now let's have a look. Next item that I want to show you guys. Oh, this is an interesting one. I paid £2 for this. I've not tested it yet, but this is pretty awesome. It came in a nice case, like a little kind of fake leather pouch, and it has a sheet for the instructions. I don't know if these are the instructions. No, that's an instruction for something else, so that's not the right instructions. But yeah, it came with a little pouch. But this is an amazing bit of kit. This thing is heavy. It's a Philips dictation machine, but this is heavy duty, as you can see. This thing weighs a ton. It feels really good. I've got to figure out where and how the battery goes in, like what the situation is with the battery, because I can't actually see where that would plug in. The mechanism works fine, and this is a really solid bit of pro kit. And actually on the back, it's got a label that I don't know if this camera is going to focus in on the label, but Townley Office Equipment Limited. So dictation machine and servicing supply. So that's who it was sold by originally. But you can tell this is a real vintage quality piece by Philips, because it feels good, the materials are good, and it also states that it's made in Austria. So really nice find there. Even if it doesn't work, I should make good money on that eventually. And I paid £2 for that. If it works, then obviously I can ask a lot more, but I'm pretty happy with that. That's a really nice buy as well. Okay, what else can I show you? I got a sealed Monopoly card game. New fast way to play Monopoly. So that's sealed. That's pretty nice. I picked that up. I'd give that a little dust and send that off to Amazon FBA. I think I paid like £1 for that. It's pretty cool. Or yeah, I mean, I bought it as part of a bundle actually. I got it with these 3 wrestlers. Now, most of these aren't great. I mean, I've got Scott Steiner there, Jack Pacific. These are all Jack Pacific figures, but this guy's worth looking out for. This is obviously the Ultimate Warrior, and this figure here is a 2003 Ultimate Warrior figure. You can see he's got his streamers on his arms, and he's got his like little feet, like accessories there. So this will probably get me about £10 to £15, probably close to 15 if I wait, take some quality pictures, and you can see the Ultimate Warrior there in all his glory there. Pretty amazing. You can just about see him. It doesn't focus so good, but yeah, so that's a good purchase as well. So I actually got these 3 figures and that Monopoly game for £4, so however it works out, so you know, pretty good for me there. I also got, actually this is from the same people that I bought the PlayStation bundle off. I bought this, which is the Notre Dame Cathedral in Montreal puzzle, made in the UK, 1,000-piece puzzle. That's nice and sealed as well, so that's going to be a nice quick sale. Well, not necessarily quick, but it'll be a nice sale anyway, so that's really good. And the other thing that's really cool about going to boot fairs when the pickings are slim is you're forced to look outside of your box. And I actually got chatting to one of the more regular guys I see, one of the dealers there, when he was looking at a piece of artwork, because I'd looked at this previously, but wasn't too sure. And then he came along and started looking at it, and he decided to buy it, and I was obviously cool with that because I'd put it down. And I said to him, just wondering, what is it that you look out for when you're looking for like artwork? And he was like, obviously the main thing, he goes, is whether it's oil on canvas or whether it's a print. If it's a print, chances are you've got to leave it alone. If it's oil on canvas, so you're just feeling the texture of the painting to make sure, and he was looking at it closely, looking for dots, which are the telltale signs of a print, obviously from like a laser color printer or whatever. And he was pretty happy with what he saw, and he went for it. And it's something I've seen on Scavenger Life's channel as well, where they talk about going for like art, even if it's by like relatively or unknown amateur artists, because art is obviously a subjective type of thing. So you might find a piece of work done by a keen amateur, and if you like the look of it, you can just stick it up and ask a price and see what you get. And often you're not going to be paying. This was one of the pieces I picked up. I paid £3 for this. I'm pretty sure this is like a oil on canvas. You can feel the texture; it's very rough, like on the trees and everything. You can feel where it's been painted. If you look really closely, you can kind of see that it's definitely paint strokes and colours, and it's got like a signature at the bottom as well saying Les Joyce. So I'm gonna find out if Les Joyce has sold any paintings on eBay before, but I paid £3 for that. Now I could stick that up for 40-50 quid really. Just say, nice piece of artwork there. If I get an offer for 30-20 even, I've done okay. But it's something to look out for. Just see how it goes, and obviously I'll do a bit of research first. But it's a nice looking drawing, so that's like an oil on canvas, I guess, oil painting. And another one I picked up for I think £3 as well. And this is an oil painting again. Really nice little portrait, and it's got like a little signature at the bottom saying RB, and luckily on the back it actually says the name of the painting. It's A Party Dress in Oils by Ralph Bowman, so probably some keen amateur painter or something. And I'm going to obviously research it as best as I can, and then take some really nice photos, and someone will surely want to have something like that up on their wall somewhere, just to decorate their home, or someone that's just a collector of amateur art. It's well worth doing. So that's something new that I'm dabbling in, so I'll be really interested to see what I can get. Now, just as things were about to wrap up at the boot fair, like I said, it was a very small boot fair. It wasn't even a third full. I went past an aisle a couple of times where there's a guy selling games consoles, and he had like an Xbox 360 250 gig machine. He had a PlayStation 3, and he was asking like £70 with a couple of pads for the Xbox. He was asking about £50 for a PlayStation 3. So he kind of knew the value of what he was selling. He wasn't going to sell it cheap. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I walked off, and then because of my earlier experience with missing out on those AAA PlayStation 1 titles, because I didn't keep on looking as vehemently maybe as I should have been, I went past. I was doing laps and laps of this tiny boot fair, and it pays off because this guy had an NES out, an old Nintendo Entertainment System, and at first I was like, oh my god, how much is he going to ask for it? And he only asked me 20 quid for it, which is amazing. And the cool thing about it is as well, the games alone get me way more than that, because he's got them and they're boxed, which is fantastic. I've got a Snake Rattle and Roll boxed there. I've got a Konami Track and Field. Unfortunately, I don't think these have got manuals, which is going to obviously affect it. And NES Open, and unfortunately, the cartridge has a crack on that, which is a shame. But and it also came with Mario, and I can just show you. Just over there, that's my wife on the floor. Just, if I can just, you can just see, Beck, move your foot, hun. There you go. You can see the NES there. I came with 2 pads and Super Mario Brothers, and like my wife's addicted to that game. She's actually pretty good at it. So as soon as I brought it home, she was like, "Oh my god, I have to play it." It is going to get sold though. We're not going to keep it. It is going to get sold, but it shows that, and that was like one of the last things I picked up, which is pretty amazing really, like 20 quid for an NES with 3 games. sorry, with 4 games, 3 boxed, one without the box, the Super Mario Brothers. £20 is a steal, and who would have thought in a dead boot fair with less than a third full that I'd actually come up with something like that. I certainly didn't, and it's just because I kept looking, kept doing laps of the boot fair, kept just going round and round in case I missed something, in case anything really. And often, like I said, people do put things out as they go along. They don't necessarily put everything that they have that's cool out at first. And also, just on that note as well, on the way home from the boot fair, went to on Facebook yesterday, and I picked this awesome Digger T rock up. Really good condition. This thing is complete with the poster, with everything. It's even got its old price from Debenhams on the bag there. So I picked this up for a fiver, so I've actually got another NES game to sell, resell at a decent profit, and that's a really good one because it's in good condition. Game itself isn't super valuable, but obviously having a good condition NES game nowadays is pretty cool. So overall, I'd say that was a very successful boot fair for me. Um, you can keep finding stuff all the way through winter. So if there are any still running, even if they're small, or even if you find like local indoor boot fairs or charity sales, or like sales that are like bric-a-brac sales or whatever in your local area, definitely go to them. And you never know what you're going to find. Some of your best finds will probably come from there. Anyway, guys, was actually only one of you watching the live stream, so hello and thank you for watching the live stream. And I will catch you guys next time. Obviously, this video is going to be on my channel. I hope you enjoyed it and get some value from it. Thanks for watching.